just in case you think I wasn't on this one. Yes. So, in the continuing quest to be more like my very good friend Jeff, we were at the dollar store yesterday picking up stuff for, well, my mother-in-law, but I call her my mom. I've had a few moms over the years who've taken care of me. We were at the dollar store yesterday picking stuff up for, oh, look at my hair, for her celebration of life that we're going to have today. So I'm taking a brief moment out of my life. I didn't notice this before, but there's two different versions of this. So while we were at the dollar store yesterday, I picked up more of these, and quite happy I did. So I think I was gonna do light gray first overall, but I decided to do blue first because I seem to be pulling a lot of parts, and blue seems to be a little more odd to find parts, a little harder to find parts. Anyway, so I'm just going to start this right off. I didn't even notice this before. So this is what the dollar store used to have, and this is what the dollar store has now. Now, there's a subtle difference on the inside, but I didn't notice that this one has a handle. This one does not. This one actually wastes space for the handle. but I'm not going to go retro because they are exactly the same dimensions. This one looks a little thinner, but it has a round bottom, so when you put them flat on the table, they're pretty much the same. So it works out in the end, and they're cheap. And yes, they're not Plano boxes like Jeffy has, but good enough for me for now. When I get the time and whatever, and these things basically three of these take the space of one of my shoe totes. There, it's a little shorter, but the same height, so it fits on the shelf perfectly fine. And so what I did yesterday is that I already did all the modified plates, right? 3 modified plates, which, shockingly I have lots of. I did hinge multi-part, which what I call hinge multi-part, which some people call modified plates or whatever, the things that require 2 pieces or more. And tiles. I did tiles yesterday. So I got rid of at least 2 shoe boxes, and I actually think I got rid of 3 shoe boxes. Maybe, I don't know, doesn't matter. And I still have space left over. So there were some things I was very surprised about. So 1x2 tiles is this entire row, and over here, up here, this is 1x3 tiles here, right there. And then tiles with grooves, that's fine. I mean tiles, grill tiles. I'm waking up. 1x1 tiles right on here, and then vertical clippies, tiles with clip. And then I put all my flags in here because I don't know where to put flags. So, and then 1x2 tiles with handle, which I was like, and then I put my panels up there by 2x2, 1x2x2, 1x2x3, and 1x4x3. That's all I have right now. Most of them are in the layout. So, there's space left over. Then we get into this one. This is 1x4, 1x4, and 1x4. A little bit of an overflow for 1x4s. And I'm going to mention I didn't buy any 1x4s on Bricklink. So I'm just trying to figure out how I have that many 1x4 tiles. Like, when I was sorting them out yesterday, I'm going, how in anything understandable I get that many 1x4 tiles? Good times. 1x6, and then 2x2 with peg, which is interesting. 2x2 with center stud, and then 1x2 with side. So I call it their panels, I guess. I don't know what the nomenclature is. And then 1x4 with side on them, and then 2x3s. I don't have a lot of new sets, so I wouldn't have too many 2x3s. And then 2x4s, again, newer sets ish, and then just 2x2 regular tiles, and then steering wheels. Again, I didn't order any of those on Bricklink. I did not order one steering wheel on Bricklink in my life, and yet, look at that. It's absolutely full of steering wheels. I thought it was going to overflow, and I was going to have to take it over to the next thing. And then we get into the hinge. This was fun because, again, I found I only have 3 1x4 hinge plates that have the connectors on the side instead of on the top. Like, this is all my 1x4 tiles with the connector on the top, right? So this is, and then also in here are the 4x4s with the window in the top for those convertible or air sunroof for the vehicles. This is all my solid 4x4s hinge plates. The top hinge plate that came in the Jets back in the day, and also in Space Police 1. My 2x4s and 2x9. I should have sorted my collection a long time ago. I found 3 2x9, including what I bought. So I found 2 more 2x9 hinge plates. So I could have refurbished the 6881 a long time ago. And then the back window for the cars. I had some extra hinge plates, put them in there. But these are the 1x6 hinge plates, and then the 1x2 hinge plates with 3 fingers, and then the 1x2 hinge plates with 2 fingers are. Where are the 1x2 hinge plates? Oh, that's odd. Where did I put them? Those are 1x3s. Okay, I'm confused. Wow. I'll put in the next one. Okay, I'm going back to bed. Oh, those are 1x2s and 1x3s. I thought I separated 1x2s, 1x3s. These are 1x2s and 1x3 hinge plates. I think there's supposed to be a divider there. It somehow disappeared. 1x2, 1x3 hinge plates. Sorry, 1x2 with 2 fingers and 1x2 with 3 fingers hinge plates. The 1x2 brick hinge brick, and then all the what do you call those? What with the clickies on it, the hinge pieces that have, I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now, and I don't care because I barely use them, and you can see I don't have a lot. And then the winches, and at the bottom are the stuff for classic space, with the 1x20 Technic thing on it. 2 rows of 1x4 hinge plates. That little spot here for the 1x4 brick hinge. And then this is the miscellaneous where I put the shovels, and the 1x2 with the holes in it for the shovels. And I think at the bottom I have the big 2x4 hinge things that go into the vehicles, the front end loaders. My turntables, lots of those. Down here are my 1x2 modified and stuff like that. Ball and socket. This is my 2x2 ball. This is my 2x2 socket. And then some helicopter things up there. I don't know whether they're. And then the 1x4 socket, 1x4 balls there. And then turntables. So, good times. And then we're back into these things, the modified plate. So this thing takes up one shelf, one spot on one shelf, one zone of one shelf, and I still have one for one more on top. And again, I still have room in here for other stuff, so there's room to expand without, going into a different bin, different container. I'm happy I'm doing this. And again, what between building and whatever else, it's take a second to sort something into one of these bins. I can see why Jeff does it. I really can. This is going to make my life a lot easier when I'm reconstituting sets and or trying to build anything. So I'm glad I'm doing it. And then I did say before that if something goes longer than one of these, then it's overflow. That might still be the case. Like I might, this is all 1x2 tiles, and then I have 1x2 tiles here. But who's gonna want 1x2 tiles, right? So I might put some of the overflow into a Ziploc and take them to a show and just and the 1x4s, seriously, I definitely can downsize the 1x4s because there's just no way I need 1x4s. I never would have ordered those on Bricklink because I never like when I did my landing pads, I wouldn't use 1x4 tiles. I wouldn't. And so I'm just trying to figure out how I got so many. No, I would imagine that back in the day they were pretty, I won't say ubiquitous, but not terribly rare, getting them in sets over all these years. But yeah. Um, Now I don't think I'll ever downsize these guys because I just might want to make more landing pads. so so that was fun. I enjoyed that. And oh, sorry. And the other thing is, I where's it? I'm putting all the bigger stuff into one bin. So before this was just the container for these guys because I have lots of those. I did order those from Wrigley, but now I'm putting these in here because these were in with the tiles. I'm putting like these things in here because they're just too big to go around. So I put all these guys, and I got a ton of these guys, like 24 of these guys in here. They used to be with the hinges, the hinge multi-part, but they won't fit into these things nicely, and there'll be a lot of waste of space. And I got a couple tippers, like 4 or 5 of these guys in here. So, so bigger pieces in here, I know that. So that's nice. And what else? And I found some printed tiles in there, which is kind of interesting. So, and printed and stickered. So I removed those, and now they're going to go into the printed and stickered bin because that's my printed and stickered bins are always separate. And I think this is a good idea. And again, you don't have to do all of it at the same time. It is for colors that I don't need to do this. Red, white. So, at some point in my life, I might do red and white, but there's no need for me to do that right now. I'm still doing it the old school way, where all modified plates go into one bin. I can find parts easy enough that way. I just find with the blue, it's becoming like tedious to dump the whole bin out into the bigger bin and find one piece I want. Because some blue pieces I only have a few of, and so trying to find it. My next one is, if we go back to the dollar store today, I'm going to grab, and yeah, this one's missing. This lesson learned. I didn't check this. It was broken off from the store. C'est la vie. Still one size open. Again, this is why Jeff buys Plano boxes, because they're not cheap pieces of garbage. These ones are, but I'm cheap. If I go back to the dollar store today, if we need to go back to the dollar, I'm going to buy a few more, and I'm going to do the round, my round bin, and get that, because that's should then also give me some more space on my shelves and downsizing. One thing I was thinking about this morning, actually, after doing all this last night, that I am going to do the tires this way, because I've shown you all my tires over there, and that is definitely going to have some overflow, because I'm not, because one of these would hold all my tires, like one style of tire. So I'm going to go through my tire bins and put them into here, into some of these, and if it doesn't fit, if it overflows one of these sides, one of these little strips, then they're definitely going. And because I look at that tire wall and it just bothers me, because I know that 99.9% of it I will never ever use. So I'm going to absolutely downsize that, and it's going to be a hard cut. And because I was thinking about that this morning, that I have a lot of space over there that I hardly ever go into that wall at all, except for monorail, and it bothers me so much. Everything else, like yellow, red, white, all the rest of the pieces here, I go visit once in a while because I'm building something. But those tires, besides the 2x2 gray plate with tire on it, I don't go over there much. And I got all those in one bin. And so I'm going to take a huge cut to that. Now, I was thinking what I'm going to do with it. I got the one big bin with the big tires, the old Technic tires, and the bigger, basically they're all Technic tires. I'm going to probably keep all those. I don't know if there's a market for, like, if I do the 4x4 Technic vehicle that came out a long time ago, with the big knobby tires, and it also came in the power truck, the power pull truck. I got a bunch of those tires because I bought 2 sets of the 4x4, and I got the power puller, and I think I even got some extra of those tires in lots. That might have to be downsized because I don't think I'll ever build 2 4x4s again. I did have both built at one point, but it was a fun set. But I don't think I'm gonna build 2 of them. We'll have to see. Maybe I will build one and reconstitute it and make a video about it because I won't say it's a unique set in the entire echelons of Lego, but I liked it. And it was right after I got the 8448, which I am definitely going to reconstitute at some point because that's a really cool set. And I might RC it again because it's a lot of fun when you RC that 8448. And I know that people have the ability to use all the newer power functions and even the newer stuff and the FX stuff, the third party stuff. I in one way, I have no problem with modified and third party stuff, as you can see, because I don't have any problem with that at all. I think to jump on a new type of powering these things, like when I went with Rob Hendricks Life Lights on my layout, it's because at the time he was the only game in town. You could have self-brewed your own stuff, but he was the only game in town for third-party lighting accessories for Lego. And I loved them right off the bat. And I met the guy a few times. He's a good guy. So I had no problem supporting him on that. And I had a really good time adapting my layout to Life Lights. The EL wire was just a little bit of icing on the cake. I didn't expect it to go as big as I did with the EL wire. And that's all self. I mean, I just ordered that from AliExpress, and that came in. But I had to retrofit it in with Rob Hendricks Life Lights. so I think they complement one another. But my RC stuff and my RCX stuff, yes, I've modified parts. I make my own length of wire. I fix all the old 9-volt wire that I need. So there is modification there. But I know that FX functions or whatever, my good friend Ralph is part of that. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's third-party stuff for Lego, for powering stuff and making things move and programming stuff. Like there's a whole bunch of third-party stuff now. Back in the day, the RCX came out. A lot of people hacked it, and a lot of people started coming out with their own sensors. High Technic, I think, was one of them. I have a few High Technic sensors. I did the IR sensor, or the detect motion and heat sensor, which is really cool. For the RCX. And I remember even building my own sensors for the RCX by getting a potometer, potometer, whatever, I don't know what it's called, but it's the variable resistor for basically not a rotation sensor, but an angle sensor. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed making my own sensor. Now, was it great? No. Did it look good? No. Soldering and modifying. But that was probably one of the few things I ever got for that kind of control that wasn't from the Lego company. Because basically the rotation sensor, the touch sensor, and the RCX was perfect for everything I needed it to do with the sensors that came with it. And since I've realized this about myself. I get really excited about something, and I get the gist of it, and then I'm happy with it. And when I get to my happy point, I don't usually continue on to get the more refined, because I'm a hack. Straight up a hack. I don't get into the higher end stuff. My friend Ian, he took the RCX farther than I've seen anybody else take an RCX. Because he was making all those amusement park rides, and he needed to get the RCX to do more stuff, like to be very specific, very accurate, and very adjustable in the motors. Like the RCX itself, straight out of the box, the motor control is like just 0 to 7, and it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's it for motor control. And it's not, 1 is slow, 2 is faster. Like, it's 0 is off, 7 is fast, and it pulses. So if you think about a motor, it doesn't reduce electricity coming to it, which would give you the good variable speed. If you connect an RCX, a motor to an RCX, and put it at speed 7 and just let it spin, and then you put it at speed 6 and just let it spin, to the human eye, it's not going any slower because basically it breaks up the pulsing. Let's just say there's 8 pulses. Speed 7, all 8 are on. Yeah. Or 7, I guess, because 0 is, there's none on. 0's on, so it's like a sine wave, whatever, and then on. So it's a continuous on. And so zzz, if we go on, off, on, off, the motor's got the momentum. So you don't see 6 being any slower than 7. Now, when you put weight on it, that momentum stops, right? Because there's weight on it now, there's resistance on it, but still. So when I say speed, when I do programming and I say speed 0 is off, speed 1, and then speed 7, the speed 1's not like a turtle slow. It's still, which is slightly annoying because I was trying to get my my moving art over there to work properly because I wanted people to be able to turn the wheel and have it go faster and slower. But basically, when it was on slowest speed 1, it was still, there was negligible difference between speed 1 and speed 7 on the, because there's not enough resistance there. So I said, but Ian, there's some firmware you could have downloaded to the RCX. I don't know where it is. It's not the one I have, but there was some firmware that you had a huge adjustment of speeds on the, so you could go, because he had he built something that required to gradually slow down and come to a stop, like an elevator or something. I can't remember. And I'm going, you did that with an RCX? He goes, yeah, there's a special firmware that does that. I'm going, son of a pup. I mean, I'd love to get into it. This is 20 years ago now, so I'm sure I could find it somewhere on the internet. But it was, he was absolutely inspiring. Like, I'm going to say this from the get-go, and let's go off on this tangent. Ian, my friend Ian, was possibly, for me, the most inspiring RCX builder in my circles. Like, Steve's great. Hasenblug is one of my favorite people. But when I went to Guelph for the first time, like, so I bought the RCX 98. I didn't know there was any Lego community on the internet. There wasn't much of an internet in 98. But as soon as I got the RCX home and I found Lego.com and blah, 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 and the RCX, and I started looking for other stuff, and now, go look at the Lugnet. So I went to Lugnet and I found RTL Toronto, and I found out that they're going to do a show or a robot competition in Guelph University, which is down the street from me. And it was basically sumo, because basically that's all the RCXs were doing back then, was sumo. And I showed up with my board cube. I call it the board cube because the specifications was 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot. Your robot had to fit inside that in order to compete. And so basically I put a XY platform, a skid steer platform, and I just built 2x4 bricks on top of it, just so it was stupid heavy to push around, because it's sumo. And I show up, and Ian shows up with this tiny little robot that had a little scoop in the front. And the skid steer robot that he showed up with was the smoothest thing I've ever seen move around on any layout. And I don't have my picture here, I don't think, here, but I completely yoinked that because I looked at it and I'm going, oh, that's just beautiful. And with minimal pieces, and the fact that it was so smooth for the skid steer, that I used that steering platform, that wheel platform, for every other robot I ever built after that, really. I got that from me, and just talking to the guy, just completely inspirational. He's just a fantastic guy. And the ability for him to communicate how to do different things. And he was such a he went into robot building for a living. So just absolutely fantastic. So but that's where my not interest, because I've always interested, but that's where my technological advancement ended. All my robots were basically based on the same platform and the same programming, the KISS theory, keep it simple. I never ever tried to go on to the next step, because I was, so focused on making this step perfect. And that's what I always do. Like, people look at my layout and say it's kind of 70s, and it is. It really is. But I'm so interested in making it better as it is, without going on to using the next greatest snots and whatever else, building techniques and all this stuff, because that would introduce a whole new ball game that I don't want to go to the next playing field. I want to stay in this playing field and perfect my craft as it is, as it were. And that's why I am here. So every once in a while I will get inspired, and every once in a while in my life I've seen something that, ooh, that's really cool, I'm going to try that. But in the end, I don't believe the word stuck is a proper way of saying it, but it's the easiest way of saying it. I'm stuck with my way of doing things. And again, walking in this direction, that's the way I do things. Now, there's always that, my whole life I've heard, oh, you should expand your horizons. You should try something else. You should, and again, I love that idea, that sentiment, that foundational belief that you should always strive to go on to the next thing. And I love people who do, and build better, like, again, Lego Masters and stuff like that, where they just take this thing to the whole different level than anybody else. I don't have, again, time, money, and space. and so that's my je ne sais quoi. That is my decision making process. I don't have the mental space for doing more stuff at this point in my life. And I go to where I'm comfortable. I will say that. People accuse me of that, as being comfortable all the time. Very comfortable all the time. So, I like being comfortable. I like being comfortable. And since I play in my own sandbox, I know where everything is. I know how to do it. I know what I want to do. And from what I've been told, people appreciate it. It's like, I'm not going to blow anybody's socks off. I'm not going to say, oh my God, like when I watch Lego Masters, I go, oh my goodness gracious, my buddy Nick, it's just holy great googly moogly. Like, if you gave me $1 million and $1 million and all the space I had in the world, I couldn't do what he does today. Now, again, I've always said that practice makes perfect, and if you kept on honing your craft, as it were, to Nick status, Nick status. I'm going to say there's Nick status, there's Dave status, there's Nick status. That you would get there eventually. And I love the people who have that want and desire and strive and like go get them and blah, blah, blah. That's perfect for them. Not so perfect for me, because I have, the other thing I have, and I realized this far when I was younger, that I have too much, I don't say too many other interests, but that's part of it. I do have the camping and the scuba diving, which I haven't done lately, and other things. I would hang out in the wood shop, and just hanging out at home. Right? I am a big fan of just hanging out and sitting beside my wife and watching TV and reading a book and whatever. I don't have, it's not the focus, but that's the word I'm going to use right now. I don't have the focus of one specific hobby where I can dedicate all my spare hours to honing that craft, to go to the next step, to get to the next step, to get higher, to get different styles and different whatever. And so I don't, but I do love those who do. I really do. And I mean, just even this, like, this took me so long to get to this step, and Jeff's been doing it forever. So even getting to this step of the craft as it is, as it were, took a very, very long time. And I have no problem. I do not have a problem with it. Other people seem to have, not you guys, but other people seem to have a problem with it. Why are you doing it old school? It's because it's who I am. So anyway, that's it. That's all. I'm gonna go get stuff ready for the show, for the thing today. I will be doing that today, and but this is gonna be released in June, so it's gonna be far after the fact. So I hope everybody out there is doing well. I'm going to talk to you guys soon, and we'll see what so let's see what I do next. Long and prosper.